Hi, friends. I just want to let y'all know that, my husband and I, we have been walking through a hard season lately. It just seems like one storm rolls out and another storm rolls in. But you know what? We know the master of the sea, and I am so glad that we do. Because, when the storms are raging all around us and they're raging within us, he calms those storms. So, having said all that, you see, I'm sitting here in my vehicle right now. I'm actually sitting outside my doctor's office. I just got finished with my appointment that I had to go back to today. I just going to update you a little bit. I have developed a very large blood clot, actually several blood clots in from my upper leg all the way down to below my knee. When I was at my regular, my doctor's appointment last week, she was evaluating me and seeing how I was doing, post surgery and just overall my whole system wide. And we were going over, some things that I had experienced, after my surgery, and I was telling her about, when I had problems with my leg, especially that one leg, and I had to, walk with the cane, and it was giving me so much problem. And she asked me what my surgeon said about it, and I told her, well, my surgeon just kind of brushed it off, but said it looked like a muscle atrophy, after surgery where you're not all that active and everything. And she said, well, did they do an ultrasound or look at it or anything? And I said, no, they didn't do anything. That's what they told me. And so she got really concerned, and she said, well, it sounds like you had a blood clot. And so she said she wanted to do some labs to test, just to, do just some general labs and everything. So I had that lab work done like the next day or two. And next thing you know, I get a call from the doctor's office, and they were really concerned and said, we need to get you in for an ultrasound today if possible. And I think that was last Friday. No, it was last Thursday. And none of the hospitals could get me in, or maybe on Friday. I don't know. If I tell you all day, just pay me no mind, because I lose track of my days with all this mess going on and everything. But anyway, they ordered a stat ultrasound, and we have two hospitals locally here, and neither one of them could get me in that day. So she called this Monday, and said that we got you in today and go get your ultrasound done. So I went and had my ultrasound done, and while I was, the technician was doing the ultrasound, she's asking me all kinds of questions. And when she got done, she said, okay, I need to go call your doctor, and we'll take it from there. Well, when they tell you that, something's going on. And so she came back with a wheelchair, and she said, your doctor wants us to roll you over to the emergency room and let them take it from there and look at you and everything. So they rolled me over to the emergency room, and my husband was sitting out in the vehicle and everything. I had to call him. I said, I'm here in the emergency room and everything. And I told him, I said, they say I have a blood clot. So this is how it's all went down since then. The emergency room, put IVs in me, and I was there forever. And so they done their own blood work too. And you probably can't see that. They blew veins on this arm, and well, I've had blood work today, but they blew veins on this arm and this poor hand. You probably can't see that good, but it's just shot all over the place. But anyway, so they had to put me on Eliquis, which is a blood thinner, and they started me out in the ER with it. And when they got my blood work back, the ER doctor said, well, your platelets is really low, and your red blood cells is low, and your hemoglobin is low, or just so many things was just wacky with my blood work. And I had just had blood work like a few days before that, for my regular doctor, and everything within a few days have just bottomed out, and they were really concerned about the platelets and being on Eliquis. They said it just didn't, go good together. So she told me, before they released me to call my doctor immediately the next day to get worked in, because some things were going to have to be taken care of. So that's where I am today. I'm just getting out of my doctor's office, and she was very concerned. So she's, gave me the needed prescription I need for Eliquis, beyond what the ER doctor gave me. And she's ordered another big bunch of labs for, blood clotting factors, anticoagulants, just all kinds of different stuff. And yeah, they're going to refer me to a hematologist. So I've got to wait on that referral to come back, and when I get my appointment. So, it just seems like one thing after another that has just hit us really hard here lately. But, sometimes that happens, and everything. So I just wanted to update you while I'm just sitting here, because when I get home, I've got to check on my husband, because last night he had a complication during the middle of the night, and he had to wake me up over, and so we had to sit up all night, and I wanted to take him to the ER, but he didn't want to go to the ER. He wanted to wait until his doctor's office came in first thing this morning. So first thing, we called his doctor's office, and they went over with him the things that were going on with him. And but his doctor is out until Monday, but his doctor is on call. And so they have put a call into his doctor. And so we're just waiting back for the call now. I'm hoping when I get home, my husband will have got the call. He couldn't even come with me today to my doctor's appointment. Like I said, that's what I said, that, we are just like two birds in a hurricane right now, just being hit all over the place and slung all over the place. But, God is good, and God will take care of us, and He has been taking care of us and everything. And like I said, that's why I said we know the master of the sea. When these storms are raging and everything, it is so good to know the master of the sea. And, I just believe God, and I trust God in everything, and He'll take care of us, and He'll get us through this. But I really just wanted to update you on this, because I've been kind of laying low the last few days or so, because I've just not been feeling that well with the blood clot, and then the new medicine is kicking in, and I'm just not feeling that well. But I'm okay though, and we're just trying to get my husband straightened out now too. It's just, he was doing really, really well until this complication developed last night. But I think he'll be okay. But we just got to wait back from the doctor, to know how to proceed, whether they need to see him back immediately, or if they need to order some new medicines, or just, how to go with it. So, yeah. So that I just wanted to do this check-in with you while I was just sitting here before I got home, because I don't know what's going to happen when I get home. We're going to have to, take him somewhere, or just what's going to happen and everything. So I'll try to get this downloaded maybe tonight when I can settle down and everything. So I just wanted to check in with you and let you know what's been going on, and I don't know what's going to go on with my hematologist and all that, and this new blood work. Got to wait for it to come back. But I just, ask you to just be, keeping us in your prayers, because we know prayer works. God has moved time after time after time, and I expect Him to now. I'm already praising Him and thanking Him for what He's going to do ahead of time. So, yeah. But I know a lot of you all are going through your own storms out there too. We're not the only one going through storms. You all are going through storms too. So many of you are going through your own health struggles, your financial struggles, spiritual struggles, emotional struggles. And I just want to let you know that, those storms are raging about you too, but God is going to take care of us. I know that God is going to take care of us. He's going to calm those storms, and those waves are going to be calm. I mean, I don't know when, and I don't know how, but God's going to take care of it for us. And so I just want to let you know that that you're not walking alone either. We're all walking through this together. So yeah, so I better get home and check on my husband and everything. So I just wanted to let you know that if I'm laying low for next week or two, you'll know what's going on. We just have a lot going on at home. And I just ask for your prayers, and I thank you for your prayers ahead of time, because I know that you're my good friends and that you're going to be praying. And but there will be a story that will be on Friday and for the next few weeks. I've already got those stories. They've been scheduled, and they've been recorded and scheduled, and so I don't have to worry about any stories, at least for the next 2 or 3 weeks. So yeah, so there'll be a story up, even if I'm not coming on, just rattling and chatting away. But I will try to check in, just as soon as I can, and let y'all know how everything's going. And I'll try to check in as often as I can on your videos and your lives, or or whatever when I can. And I just want to let y'all know that I love you. And let's just go into the rest of this week and weekend gracefully. And let's go with God. And let's go gently. And I love you all. Bye-bye.